I've been a PC gamer for about a little over a year now, and one of the hardest things about PC gaming, as much as I do love it, has to do with being able to play mouse and keyboard, because mouse and keyboard probably has been one of the hardest things to do, especially when you're coming from someone who's been playing consoles all their lives. Now I can fully say I know how to play mouse and keyboard. Well, I think I'm really good at mouse and keyboard, and that's because I followed a couple of steps that I'm going to tell you guys how to do, and it's pretty simple, and it all comes down to just one thing. It comes down to just gaming. It comes down to just playing the games as you should play the games on your PC. I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to give you your story about, oh, do this, do that, bada bing, bada boom, when the easy way to actually be better at mouse and keyboard, or to actually switch from controller to mouse and keyboard, only has to do with you just playing games. Just do the thing you love doing. I think I could also break it down into something more succinct, something that actually makes more sense for you guys to actually follow through. But everything's revolved around playing games. So the first thing I would tell you guys to do is get into the habit of playing FPS games. FPS games are probably known to be one of the most erratic, over-the-top, fast-paced genre of games you can actually ever think of. And so it only makes sense that if you're trying to switch from controller to mouse and keyboard, easiest thing for you to do would obviously be to play an FPS game. Coming from someone like me who isn't really the biggest FPS fan, but I've become more of a fan over the years now, a game I've actually played, no, it's even weird because how I actually got better at playing mouse and keyboard on PC has to do with me playing two games on the same spectrum but at different ends. So I started playing Shadow Warriors 3, which I know, yes, it's Shadow Warriors 3, and I also started playing Doom Eternal. Shadow Warriors 3 was probably one of the better games for me to actually play, and I think it's probably one of the best games you can actually play starting out trying to play mouse and keyboard, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. The game has enemy variations, combat variations, the different things. It's fast paced, and I think that's why I really fell in love with the game in itself. Okay, fell in love with the game is probably an overstatement, but the game is really fun. It's probably one of the best 7 over 10 games I played. And the reason why I think it would work well for someone who's coming into mouse and keyboard for the first time probably has to do with just the pace. It's fast paced, you have different ways of attacking different enemies, and there's so many things all over the screen, which if you're not really good at FPS games, I get it, but I do think you should give it a try. Similar to Shadow Warriors 3, we could easily talk about Doom Eternal, which I don't have a lot to say about Doom Eternal. I don't need to say anything about Doom Eternal because it's Doom Eternal. It's not Doom 2016. Doom 2016 was fine. Doom Eternal is like, oh no, I'm on steroids and I'm jacked as fuck. These games make so much sense as someone who's coming from controllers, mouse, and keyboard, and it works so well. I even think the best way to play FPS games is through mouse and keyboard, because your accuracy is spot on. You're able to pinpoint enemies you're able to snipe enemies from a long distance, from a mile away in the game. And now look, I know that not everyone here loves first-person shooters or whatever. The easiest way for you to just steadily transition into play mouse and keyboard, reduce the difficulty to easy. It doesn't have to be baby, just easy. Put it on easy so you don't have to think about the extra complications of, oh, the enemy is tough. Now you can actually think about, okay, how can I get better at reloading? How can I get better at, following the enemy's traces, following the enemy's footsteps, being able to apply my crosshair and make sure my crosshair follows the enemy at every single step, being able to also make critical shots, because you obviously do need to learn how to make critical shots with FPS games, because critical shots is also dependent on you just being precise. I don't think it can be as precise on controller as you can be on mouse and keyboard. So reduce difficulty to easy. You shouldn't be stressed out. You shouldn't be stressed out, to be fair. I think you'll be alright. If you're still trying to figure out, okay, I'm not really into FPS games like that, I don't really care for FPS games, but I still want to get good at mouse and keyboard, I think an easier way would be to play all these flow states games you have on PC, or play games like Path of Exile. Okay, Path of Exile is difficult, so maybe not Path of Exile, but maybe like Diablo 4. Well, so with Diablo 4, you don't have to think of the extra complexity of being able to figure out where to put my keys on my mouse and keyboard, where I put my fingers on my mouse and keyboard, because okay, you don't control your characters with the keyboard. You usually control your character's movements and also the attack moves with your mouse. So with that, it makes it easier for you to understand, okay, fine, my hand is getting used to being able to click on the left, click on the right, being able to figure out when exactly I should click on the button on the mouse, and actually being able to get better with time and learn how to play mouse and keyboard. A large percentage of the complexity comes from your finger placement, being able to figure out where to put your hands on the keyboard, because I get it, if you've never played with mouse and keyboard, it's very weird for you. Your fingers are going to move weirdly, because I don't know where G is, oh, I don't know where Q is, but with time, it gets better, and with time, obviously it gets better with time, and it gets better with practice. Like I said, everything I'm telling you now, you need to practice. you need to get better with mouse and keyboard. And now the final tip I'll probably give you guys, probably the easiest tip I could probably give you guys, is to get a decent mouse. I think you can get away with getting a cheap keyboard, because I think with the keyboard all you have to do is just the hand placement, but I think with the mouse it gives you the opportunity to also have key binding. So take for example, I have the Logitech G502 Lightspeed mouse. I would tell you to get this mouse. I would still recommend to get this mouse, but I don't think you have to get this mouse immediately if you're just first starting out how to play mouse or keyboard. I think you'd easily get away with probably getting a decent mouse and actually figure out, okay, getting an ergonomic mouse, because what you don't want is to have tunnel fingers, like you're like a wicked witch of the West. I think it goes without saying that a mouse is more essential to mouse and keyboard than a keyboard, because you also have the ability to also put extra key bindings on your mouse. So take for example, on this particular mouse here, it has about like 9 different buttons that I can use for like different key bindings for like different games, which makes it easier for me to actually play certain games as opposed to like looking for G on the keyboard or whatever. I could literally just press the 4th button on the mouse. And yeah, so I think coming into PC gaming, I think it's going to be difficult for most people to get over the hill of how am I going to play mouse and keyboard. You could also always just play on your controller and you could be perfectly fine with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with you playing with your controller. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly viable. I even think it might actually even be more viable now because of the way games are being made, that sometimes controllers are being put first before mouse and keyboard are thought of. But with that being said, I do also like having the opportunity to be able to use anyone I want to choose. But I think just one of the few reasons why I enjoy playing on PC, and I also speak about other reasons why I love playing on PC gaming, with a few caveats of why sometimes PC gaming can be a bit of a hassle every now and then. It depends on what you're trying to figure out with PC gaming, and depends on what, it also depends on your threshold of what you can deal with. That's all I have to tell you guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Instagram. All the links will be down in the description box down below. Thanks for watching the video. Hope to hear from you soon. Peace out.